Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to just speak on behalf of my amendment regarding the paramilitary forces in Crimea. It seems that Mr. Putin continues to propagate the myth that Russia does not interfere in the internal affairs of other nations. The fact is that Russia has a very long history of interfering in former Soviet states, and it seems that Mr. Putin mourns the loss of the empire and has set one of his goals to reconstruct a modern version of it through his proposed Eurasian Union. But to do so, he needs Ukraine, and he doesn't need democratic revolutions so close to Moscow that threaten his de facto autocracy. So he reserves the right to resort to economic blackmail and, in Georgia in 2008 and now Ukraine, military intervention to keep his neighbors in line. Russia has been stoking separatist sentiment for years in Crimea and now is doing it at gunpoint. Strong evidence suggests that members of Russian security services are at the heart of the highly organized anti-Ukraine forces in Crimea. While these units wear uniforms without insignia, a violation of international law, by the way, they drive vehicles with Russian military license plates and freely identify themselves as Russian security forces when asked by the international media and the Ukrainian military. My amendment, and this amendment, simply reflects the consensus of international community and identifies the reality of the facts on the ground by calling on the Russian Federation to end its support for separatist and paramilitary forces in Crimea. And I yield back.